Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the Paradigm AI Smoke Woods and Irons from Callaway.
Hi, I'm Matt Adams, and this is your Golf Central update. Earlier, I had a chance to speak with Marsha Oliver, who's the Senior Vice President of Community and Public Engagement for the PGA Tour. There you can see a resume that is extremely stout because she is the woman that's leading the Tour's efforts to grow and diversify the game. Marsha, welcome to the program. It is a pleasure to have your company. So tell us, how did your life's path lead you to where you are now?
Thank you, Matt, and it's great to be with you today. When you ask probably a golfer or a fanatic that question, what exactly led them to the game, they could probably tell you exactly when they fell in love with it, whether it was a fine-tuned swing or a stroke or their first hole in one. They could probably recall exactly when, where, and that feeling. Far from a fairway and void of any kind of skill or connection to the sport, I also fell in love with the game. It was actually 5 years ago, ironically, on Valentine's Day, when I accepted a offer at the PGA Tour to lead the community and charitable outreach activities for its flagship event. And as a native of the area where the Players Championship is hosted, of course, I had been familiar with the tournament. I had long been drawn to come to see the world's best golfers playing in my backyard, right here in my hometown. And while it was a tournament that introduced me to golf, it was a PGA Tour executive that I'd long known in working in the nonprofit space that invited me to be a part of golf. And I say all the time, there were three words that he shared that convinced me. And those words were, "You belong here." And you think about it, I mean, here in a sport where the barriers of entry are great, underrepresentation both on and off the course is even greater. He was very intentional about making sure that I understood that there are opportunities for women and for minorities to be a part of the sport. And I can tell you, certainly when you look at the PGA Tour and the impact that we make, he invited me to be a contributor outside the ropes. The tour has long bolstered and benefited communities across this globe. The Players Championship, my home tournament right here, is celebrating 50 years. And within those 50 years, we've generated over $100 million in charitable impact,
Wow.
which collectively contributes to the $3.6 billion across the tour. So when you think about the good of golf, I don't have to be good at the game in order to have the opportunity to steward the good that golf does in communities across this country. And that drives my passion and love for the sport.
Well, absolutely love the passion that you have. You were named one of the nation's top 100 female leaders, that Business Journal Biz Women 100 list that I referenced earlier in 2023. What barriers to that point that you just brought up have you had to overcome in your career, and how do you hope that you can inspire the next generation of female leaders behind you?
Sure. When I think about my career, I've often been one of a few women, or the only or the first African American at a board table or at an event or in an organization. And too often, those environments present challenges and pressures that sometimes may make an individual feel like they need to silence their voice or their beliefs. They have to, kind of leave their full selves at home. And it's not uncommon for a minority in a majority-dominated workplace or organization to seek to blend in and hide. In fact, probably I could say that the earliest parts of my career and its success were rooted in my ability to do that, to be able to adapt, to be able to assimilate, to avoid places where my representation is less or my views or perspectives may be different. And it's taken me a long time to appreciate the value of being embraced because of my difference and not in spite of it. And the PGA Tour has certainly taught me that through just the efforts that they lead by encouraging employees to bring different perspectives and insights and experiences. And so what I tell young people all the time is that, the greatest contribution you can make in life is to be yourself in a world that may be trying to convince you to be someone else.
I love that advice, and I love that you used the word embrace, because that leads me to the next thing that I wanted to ask you about, which is why is it important that the PGA Tour be at the forefront of welcoming women into the game of golf?
Yeah. A lot of times when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, people immediately, they start thinking about specific groups and audiences, whether it's women, whether it's minorities, whether it's differently able. And, I've come to learn over the past several years that, we're not shepherding people. We're not shepherding any specific group of people. We're shepherding our product. It's important for us to ensure that we are not just trying to make more people good at golf. We want golf to be better for more people. And so we must be at the forefront in order to be able to improve and sustain and grow our product. And I think it's important for us to make those efforts not just inside the ropes, but also outside the ropes. At the PGA Tour, we have 36% of our females that are here in this organization, and 30% of them are executive team members. So we want to see women represented in all aspects of golf.
And last year, women, of course, were very well represented because the PGA Tour is involved in a mixed team event. What are the reviews on that? How was that received?
Yeah, the Grant Thornton Invitational was outstanding. That was the first mixed team event that had been held, I think, in 2 decades, and it was very well received. We certainly look forward to working with the LPGA to explore opportunities to do that again. It was very successful.
You have talked about the Tour's partnership with the PGA of America and, of course, other organizations that work to help eliminate the invitation perception of the game. If you could define that, saying that golf doesn't have to be a country club, how important are the steps that you are taking in your position to continue to break down the barriers of golf so that the game becomes more accessible, more diverse, more welcoming to all?
Yeah, Matt, that work started in 2021. It was actually Commissioner Monahan and PGA of America CEO Seth Waugh that hosted a town hall meeting. That meeting was, I think it included various members of the golf industry, representatives and leaders, and they came together to talk about what exactly should our role be in diversity. How do we strengthen our game? How do we make it more welcoming? How do we make it more inclusive? And what came from that was an initiative that's called Make Golf Your Thing. And it's an industry collaborative that promotes diversity, equity, and inclusion. And over the past 3 years, there have been a number of initiatives that have come as a result of that effort. We have grassroots programs. There is a grants program that has awarded, I think collectively, almost $2 million to organizations across communities in the U.S. that are specifically addressing underrepresented youth, underserved youth, and introducing them and providing opportunities for them to engage in golf.
Marsha, through your efforts and that of the Tour, you are directly impacting lives, and the game is better for it. Thank you very much for spending some time with us tonight. Congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Matt. I'm honored to be a part of it.